Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá jákèjádò àgbáláyé o. Mo kí wa tẹ̀ṣọ́ mo kí wa tológo. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ jẹ́ á tún jọ farabalẹ̀ kí ẹ jẹ́ á tún jọ wo bó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. Ká tún lè pe àkíyèsí àwọn ènìyàn wa tí ń bẹ nílé láti jẹ́ kó mọ̀ wípé igi Nàìjíríà ti dá. Àwọn èèyàn wa ní òkò tí ì dìde. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, mẹ́wàá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ o, mẹ́wàá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní orílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ o. Ogun ti ń jà ní orílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà o, ogun ń jà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, bí mo ṣe ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí, àwọn Fúlàní agbénipa wọ́n jí brọ́dà wa kan, gbajúmọ̀ ọkùnrin kan ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Wọ́n kidnap ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n gba 50 million lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Wọ́n tún ṣekú pa á. Bó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ rèé o lójoojúmọ́. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ogun ń jà lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Kí Olódùmarè kó tètè bá wa gba orílẹ̀‐èdè wa Yorùbá nation kó bá wa gbà á jáde lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà kó tó di wípé wọ́n pa àwọn ènìyàn wa tán o. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ jẹ́ á jọ farabalẹ̀, ẹ tún jẹ́ á jọ gbọ́ nǹkan tí brọ́dà wa Biafra yìí tó sọ nípa ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ní orílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa share fídíò yìí o kó lè dọ́dọ̀ gbogbo àwọn ènìyàn wa kí wọ́n lè mọ̀ wípé ogun ń jà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà o, kí wọ́n lè mọ bá a ṣe tètè máa fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ bá a ṣe máa gbára wa kúrò lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí kó tó di pé wọ́n pa àwọn èèyàn wa tán o. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ farabalẹ̀ ẹ bá mi wo fídíò yìí.
Open your eyes. Look, open your eyes. There is a conquest going on. And those who should be defending us are complicit in selling us. Get that clear.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. On a sad note, the issue that happened in Plateau State today that claims 14 lives. Now, the death toll has been increasing ever since then. And as at the time of recording this video, it is 51 now, okay? Meaning that 51 persons were killed today in Plateau State. You know why I'm keeping all these records? Because I'm still writing it down. So that tomorrow, if I come out to tell you the number of people your one Nigeria has eaten, you will understand why we are doing this, all right? This is just barely a week and 3 days, okay? A week and 3 days or 4 days. They kill almost 50 persons there. So is it a weekly basis? If it is weekly basis, meaning the people from Plateau State should get ready that every week 50 persons is going to die, because the security operatives have washed their hands off. The chief of army staff has come out to say that it is political, that there is an underlying issue. And the reason why all this issue is increasing in the Middle Belt and in the North, if it is because of people who really created all this insecurity are using it to do politics for frustrating and so on and so forth, it is their own cup of tea. But Nigeria is complicated and it's not sustainable, because the issue of this insecurity is, I don't know the adjective I will use to qualify it. It's many. The political angle is there, the Islamization angle is there, the Fulanese who killed even Muslims and Christians who are everywhere in Nigeria. Those people are looking for land to chase people to occupy land. So Nigeria has many problems, and that is why we said that Nigeria is not sustainable.
One thing is this. In this last week, Yorubas in Akure, same Akure, had occasion to troop out in their numbers to protest the insecurity occasioned again, the Fulani again, they said. Enugu people were crying out about being butchered on their farms. It would appear that almost everywhere across the length and breadth of Nigeria in the last week, it's been one killing after the other, all linked in one way or the other to the Fulani people. This has not just, it didn't start yesterday. It's something that's been ongoing, it's been happening for a while. Every time you hear of one ethnic cleansing, one mother or the other, the Fulanis are mentioned. So this last week, I've had my mind preoccupied with cows, the Fulanis, the obvious war of conquest and invasion going on. and the seeming complicity, not even seeming, the obvious complicity of the state that seems to continue to ask, where are the cows? Because nobody appears to be treating these as anything close to what it should be treated as. Because obviously Nigeria is a country under siege. So as I started thinking about these, I remembered the narratives offered by Kawu Baraje, former national secretary, I believe, of the APC. This is reported in Business Day of the 2nd of August, 2022. Baraje was speaking at the occasion of his 70th birthday. And he said, on record, that in the lead up to the 2015 election, they, as the APC, imported Fulanis from Sierra Leone, from Mali, from Senegal, from Niger, and from Chad. He was very specific. He did not mention any other ethnic nationality. He spoke specifically of the Fulani. He said they imported Fulanis from Sierra Leone, Mali, Senegal, Niger, and Chad. I'm not sure if we had influxes from Equatorial Guinea or if the ones in other parts were equally invited, but it was specific. And in 2015, a rabid Fulani redentist and a Muslim fanatic was elected president of Nigeria. Baraje was very, very clear in also saying that the people they invited, they also harmed. Let me repeat myself. Go to the Business Day newspaper of August 2, 2022. I am quoting Kawu Baraje. He was part of the foundation of the APC. He was the factional chairman of the breakaway PDP that was part of the foundation of the APC. There are recorded confessions on TikTok, on YouTube, almost every social media platform. You'll find Fulani people telling you. There's one particular one I watched myself where the guy was like, look, AK-47, that they don't use it to shepherd their cows, that these were given to them. He was specific in saying that. He's on record. A friend shared a story with me, and I think he also posted these on social media. Is she rather, a farmer. And she recounted how she was farming somewhere in Oyo State, somewhere around Afigio. I went to school in Fiditi, which incidentally is my mother's village, for those idiots who are saying my mother is Igbo or this. Anyways, in Afigio, if you know Fiditi and his axis, you know that that is on the road to Oyo, after it's between Oyo and Ibadan. So that's deep in the heartlands of Yoruba land. And this woman says that immediately after the harvest season, the Fulanis would come. These are Fulanis who have lived in the community for decades. They will come, graze their cattle. In grazing their cattle, the droppings from the cattle would help to fertilize the field. The hooves will break the soil, and it was a mutually beneficial relationship. And these Fulanis would help, and they would give them fura and wara, and people had a mutually beneficial relationship. And when the cows grazed on people's farm, there was also a key, easy way of fixing the problems. They would pay reparations. They had peaceful coexistence. And then this woman told me that after a point, the Fulani came, the leader of the local Fulani who would graze on her field came to her to say, look, I'm leaving. There are some new Fulanis in the environment. I cannot coexist with them. And the man left with his family, somebody who had lived in the neighborhood well in excess of 20, 30 years. He left with his family. And not long after, there was this new influx of Fulani people who wouldn't even hear any language and were never ready to discuss peace. Every little infraction turned into fights, and these ones were acting more like conquerors than neighbors. She abandoned her farm. This story is over 10 years old. I used to farm, and I had farms in Ijebu. For those of you who are familiar with Ijebu, I had farms in Telubomi and Abude, just behind Akoje Farm Settlement. I had cocoa farms running into tens of acres. I was forced to abandon my farm over 10 years ago because of Fulani activities in the neighborhood. Over 10 years ago. The fact is that this has been an insidious conquest. It has happened with the complicity of the state. And because of the complicity of the state, a lot of us have been slow to admit to the fact that Nigeria is in the grip of an insurgency, ably supported by our government and the rulers of Nigeria. General Laumi was on national TV, on channels, and he said on the record that since 2016, a list of sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria had been given to Buhari as the president. He said in that interview that the sponsors of terrorism included governors, persons in the cabinet of the president. Nothing ever happened to them. The UAE caught sponsors, financiers of terrorism in Nigeria, and they sent them to prison in the UAE. And then they sent a corresponding list of sponsors who are in Nigeria to the Nigerian government. Over 300. Nothing ever happened to them. But the same government is always quick to jail 17-year-olds on trumped-up charges. The same government, the same system is always available to persecute those who might make the error of asking to be citizens. My friend, Dr. Calvin Stanley, told me that almost on a daily basis, somebody is killed on the plateau. That 164 settlements on the plateau have been taken as conquered territory, resettled by Fulani marauders after the indigenous people have been driven off the land. A person told me how she gave up a mining license, or at least her interest in the mining license, when she found out that for her to be able to work the concession she was given, she would have had to be in bed with terrorists who are usually employed in the mining industry to drive out the indigenous people from the land holding the resources. And we still begin to ask, where are the cows? Dr. Calvin told me that there is a base for Fulani terrorists in the tri-state area, Benue, I think this is between Benue, Nasarawa, and Plateau, somewhere around that place, that there is a base. And he said it on national TV as well, by the way, that this base is known to all of our security agencies, that helicopters land there to drop off ammunition and material, that the security forces are aware and they've done nothing about it. He is on record. He is on record, on public record, and we are still asking, where are the cows? In this last week, I came across the interview given by the old soldier, Brigadier Ogun. Brigadier Ogun. He was on Edmond Obilo's show, and he was talking about his experience as the Amotekun Corps commander in Oyo State. General Ogun spoke of the difficulties and challenges that were placed on his path by those who were determined to ensure that he did not succeed as the Corps commander. He spoke extensively, very extensively, about how he was prevented from recruiting certain classes of personnel, how he was frustrated and not given the material required, And then he spoke even more alarmingly of the multiple Fulani camps that are inside the forests of the southwest. And then I remember Obadiah Malafia's word before he was murdered. He spoke extensively to pretty much the same thing. And then it now becomes important to ask ourselves some questions. Who are the cows? I believe that there are many cows in this sorry story. The victims have been treated as cows, or even worse, by those herding cows, slaughtered less reverently than they would have slaughtered cows. I see pictures coming out of Bokos. I see multiple pictures coming out of the Middle Belt. I see the pictures coming out of Akure, coming out of Enugu, coming out from almost every part of this beleaguered land. Men and women, children, slaughtered less reverently than cows. So we, Nigerians, who have been denied citizenship, are the ones who have now been reduced to cows. We're treated like cows, as if we don't matter, like our lives count for nothing. What is the value of the Nigerian life if 16 persons said to be hunters in Uromi caused national outrage, rightly so, but the gruesome murder on a daily basis of more people has been normalized as though they are not humans? A state exists. Its president is on a vacation in France, even though working vacation in France, but the president of France is visiting Egypt. Make it make sense to me, because I don't understand these things, but in the country that the person governs or pretends to govern, people are being slaughtered with nary a reaction, and we are still asking, who are the cows? Apparently, the Nigerian is less than a cow in the eye of the Nigerian state. Much less than a cow. When they ask where are the cows, maybe we should begin to look in government houses for the cows, because even if you hate us so much, shouldn't you worry that the country you are pretending to govern has been turned over to foreign invaders who are brought in for political purpose? How long do you think this cycle that you have energized is going to last before there is a blow up? Exactly how long do you reckon it's going to last? Everywhere you turn, people are being slaughtered. Truth is, I would like to say like cows, but the cows would appear to have primacy over human beings in the Nigeria that has been built under the watch of the APC. There is nobody else to blame for this. This is on the table of the APC. This is not just about Tinubu. It's not just Tinubu. It's the APC. Everyone, and when I say APC, a lot of those who are responsible for this have left APC today. They've gone back to their PDP, or they've gone to the SDP, like that short monkey from Kaduna. Where are they today? All over. So essentially, this has been done with the sanction of the political class. Nigeria is under attack. Let's be clear. Let us be clear. This is a state-sponsored war of conquest against the Nigerian people by foreign Fulanis brought into this country by the APC. That is the gospel truth, the stubborn truth. And the sooner we all wrap our brains around this and begin to demand that the APC and the government, whether you are APC, whether you are PDP, it doesn't even matter. If you are in a position where you are meant to be the protector of the people because you are functionaries of the state, whose first duty is the protection of the people, it shouldn't matter where this threat is coming from, who brought it in. The reality is that Nigeria is in the grip of a war of conquest. The state is failing. It is failing horribly. At a time when the state is under attack by persons brought into the country by those who are governing the country today, the president is away on holiday. The director of the DSS is telling us that we are the ones who protect ourselves. Jackson, who fought back in self-defense because his life was in imminent threat, not just threat, he was already stabbed, overpowered his attacker and stabbed back, and our Supreme Court sentenced him to death. If that wasn't self-defense, what is? So, in a situation where the foreign invaders have been offered immunity and impunity, what is the lot of the Aborigines? Our forests are not they're not no man's land. Those are sacred forests. They belong to some people. They are lands belonging to people. When you brought foreign terrorists, people who had no land of their own, to come into our country, to come and take land, you become complicit in the multiple murders that have taken place in pursuit of their purpose. No wonder they were saying that we should ask our president what he agreed with them. Nigeria is under attack. There is no sugarcoating it. These are foreign Fulanis who are not aborigines to Nigeria, who sees Nigeria as their patrimony, and they have been brought into the country under the auspices of the APC and have been largely protected and supported by the same APC. Because how else do you explain where are the cows? Eventually, the cows were found because the killers of Antifunke just happened to be the Fulanis that the statement was meant to excuse. Where are the cows? The question should be, who are the cows? Who? Are we now cows, or are we being ruled by cows who fail to see what should be in their own enlightened selfish interest? I will live and I will die. Tinubu will live and he will die. All of us will live and someday we will go, but what we have done will live beyond us. How can it be that those who have the sacred duty to protect the people are the ones who have become the enemies of the people, sponsoring all kind of terror against the people? And we are always asking, where are the cows? Let the government tell us if we have become as cows, or if they are the cows who are failing to see that they are failing in their duties. But when you are asking who the cows are, or where the cows are, also ask yourself, where is your brain in this imagined scenario? Are you able to see what is obvious, or you are still denying the obvious because of your ethno-religious or partisan interest? The truth is the truth, regardless of who believes or do not believe it. But the truth does not cure the willfully ignorant. I hope I have spoken to people who still have the capacity to think on their own and to draw inferences, logical inferences from the truthful facts that are in front of them. I've said my own. I have said my own. You say your own. Just as I promised, we have the final draft of the Electoral Reform Bill. It will go out tomorrow morning so that we'll get your comments and your inputs. I know that it is easy to say that nothing will change, the House of Reps will not do anything, the Senate will not do anything. Yeah, I actually don't expect them to do anything about it, but I expect you to do something about it. If we are truly in a democracy, if this is truly a democracy, it's time we start finding out, don't you think? How else do you find out but by trying to see if your will as a collective will prevail? We will submit the bill when we are all done having a chance to take a look. And when we have submitted that bill, we would await their response based on the clearly submitted timeline. And if we don't get it, we would organize to confront. Let me be very clear. Nobody serves you freedom a la carte. Just like this. Grabbed it, snatched it, grabbed it, and ran with it. That is how you take power. And when you are looking for your freedom, you must be prepared for sacrifices. We will circulate the bill. We'll go through the bill by ourselves. When we're satisfied that we have what we need, we'll take it before them. Let them say no. Then we will say yes. And then we'll see whose voice is higher than the other. Gentlemen, the people will say, Aboro, as of Amolabi, half a word is enough for the wise. But there is also another proverb that is very succinct and speaks to our situation. Ogun, we tell you, the cripple who is forewarned cannot be killed in a war. You have been forewarned. You have the luxury, especially those of us in the Southwest, in the South generally, we have the luxury of being forewarned. Those on the front lines, people of Bokos, whose land on the plateau are being daily resettled in what is apparently and clearly an ethnic cleansing. They are the ones on the front line. They don't have the luxury of warnings. We, having been warned, have the duty not only to prepare, but to speak up. And inability to speak to your condition imperils you. Speak. Stop allowing your tongue to cleave to the roof of your mouth on account of ethnicity or religion or partisanship. Open your eyes. Look. Open your eyes. There is a conquest going on. And those who should be defending us are complicit in selling us. Get that clear.
Now, there was a joint security network that was set up in Yoruba land, southwest Nigeria, to curb the influence of Fulani terrorists in the states in the southwest. So they comprise of local hunters. Okay, when I mean local hunters, I'm not talking about the terrorists whom the police and the government are tagging hunters who are coming from Kano, from the north coming. No, I'm talking about the local hunters who owns the village. Okay, who owns the villages that all these things are happening. So there was a joint security effort comprising of the soldier, the DSS, and the hunters. Now, the hunters have come out to make a shocking revelation. You know, Nigeria is a country where people will raise an alarm. Nobody will pay attention to the alarm that they will raise. It's unfortunate. Now, this is what the hunters are saying. They are saying that the DSS is colluding with the terrorists. Department of State Security Service, DSS, they are colluding, the officials are colluding with the terrorists. This is a shocking and alarming revelation. And if Nigeria is supposed to be a country, something like this is enough to cause a revolution. You know, when T.Y. Danjuma made this revelation very long time ago, and he has repeatedly reaffirmed and affirmed what he said, time with that number, people don't take it serious. How could the security operatives be colluding to kill people? Now, this is what the hunter said that the DSS tracking system used to shed kidnappers for cash. Soldiers checking points into toll booths. Nigeria hunters expose security corruption. Well, a lot of people might call it corruption, but I will not call it corruption, okay? I will not call it corruption. That your people are dying. The security operative DSS, the equipment to track the kidnappers, they are using it to divert their attention, shedding them because of money. And DSS director was the other day telling us that they can't defend anybody. If you can't defend anybody, why are you colluding? What is the essence of your operatives? What is the essence of we having soldiers in Nigeria ourselves? Soldiers in Nigeria, they are not important. I am saying it. People should understand. Soldiers in Nigeria have never saved anybody from my village not to get kidnapped. Police have never saved anyone from my village not to get kidnapped. It's just our vigilante. So what is the essence of all these people? It is of no use. The chief of army staff last week said that the attacks going on in Plateau State cannot be stopped. Even though you mobilize the whole army officials, the whole soldiers in Nigeria, even though you mobilize them to Plateau State, that they can't stop it because it is political and there is an underlying issue. You know, Nigerians are still hearing all these things. They are still keeping quiet. This is very, very bad, something that shouldn't have even happened for the first time. Alarming revelation have emerged from a part of southwestern Nigeria, where local hunters have accused some operatives of the Department of State Service DSS and soldiers of compromising joint security effort through corruption, negligence, and misconduct. Now, remember that I was asking some questions some time ago. I said, for example, in the southeast in Enugu State, we have a lot of military prisons, okay, in Enugu State. And amid these military prisons, we have a lot of Fulani terrorists in the same area. Then the question is, how can you understand and think about the presence of military through the presence of terrorists in the same place? where the military were set up to fight the terrorists, but where they are is where the terrorists are. Terrorists hardly stay where soldiers don't stay in Nigeria. Does that not send a direct, signal to you that these people are aiding these people? Now, the article continues. So the hunters who recently undertook a long journey to confidentially brief a prominent community advocate disclosed deeply troubling allegations involving both the DSS and military personnel stationed in their region. They insisted on delivering the message in person, citing the sensitivity of the information and fear of interception over digital channels. This is what they said. I just had a visit from the top hunters in part of the northern southwestern Nigeria, that is Yoruba land. They spent hours and hours on the road to come and tell me some very bad and confidential things. It was not the stuff they wanted to discuss over the phone or the internet, the source said. At the heart of the allegation in the DSS is the DSS alleged abuse of sophisticated telephone tracking technology meant to identify and rescue kidnapped victims, now reportedly being used to extort money from the very criminals it was designed to catch. So the DSS has now been confirmed of aiding terrorists in the southwest. According to the hunters, some DSS operatives have been accused of collecting payments from kidnappers in exchange of concealing their location. A few of these officers were said to have been recently arrested and transported to Abuja in leg chains. Okay, let us believe that they have been captured. DSS has been arrested and transported to Abuja, but let us see what will be the end of the news. Remember that the DSS arrested Boko Haram in Yoruba land, and they said that they are going to be briefing us how the case is going. As I speak to you now, nobody is talking about the case, so it's totally over. Now it continues. The hunter said the DSS operatives make use of sophisticated telephone tracking system to locate kidnappers and their victims. Then they extort money from the kidnappers in return for hiding their true position. They said some of them were recently arrested and taken to Abuja in leg chains, the source said. The action of the security operatives was described as betrayal and outright sabotage of national security. In a similar damning narrative, the hunters allege that the soldiers formerly involved in joint patrol have now been sidelined due to a series of transactional behaviors that have eroded trust. And this is what they have been doing in the southeast Igbo land. They deployed them to do one or two. They man roadblock and they started collecting money. Why in their presence the killing will be going on and they won't do anything about it? So this is terrible. This include open extortion of motorists at informal checkpoints, careless conduct during operation leading to the loss of hunters' lives, an inappropriate relationship with the local women, including advances towards married women funded by bribe, extorted or roadside toges. And this is the same thing the Igbos were saying, that the soldiers who came to their place to rescue them, raped them, helped the kidnappers. Though it's not, when these stories were coming out from Igbo land, people never believe all these things. And now it is coming out from Yoruba land when their land is under siege of the Fulani terrorists. Drivers allegedly hand over 500 notes and ask for 200 change in full view of the public as soldiers conduct these tours openly, turning national security checkpoints into cash points. It also concerns the soldiers who work with the hunters. Both the DSS and soldiers are now overwhelmingly transactional. Transactional to the point where the hunters are no longer involving the soldiers in their joint patrol, the source said. This is what we know right from time, and the hunters are not wrong because this thing is happening everywhere. The reasons they gave point to the death of fellow hunters due to the operational carelessness of the soldiers. Transactional tollgate operation on commercial and other vehicles in broad daylight, dating the local women and enticing the local women for dredging, including making advances at married women with the tollgate money they collected. Disturbed by the worsening situation, the hunters said they were now reverting to traditional method of protecting their communities. One chilling warning was the mention of Magon, a deadly traditional trap used to punish sexual offenders, suggesting that the local men were ready to deploy ancient justice to defend their families. They say it is only a matter of time before a headline race. Soldier Lumagun, soldier killed after sleeping with another man's wife. The source added, hinting at the growing tension between the local communities and the security forces deployed to protect lives. This is the end of the article from the Sahara Reporter. So, from my own concern, it is a very big mistake to use the Nigerian security operatives to front your defense against Fulani herdsmen. They will collude with them. When we tell you people, this is this, this is that, don't think that we are here to play. We come here to tell you the real things going on. Haven't you all seen that everything we said here is true? The DSS helping the kidnappers with their tracking equipment so that they will not be captured, you know, and so on and so forth. It is so shameful. And people don't still understand where we are. A lot of people said it is corruption. It is not corruption in my own case. This is not corruption at all. It's not corruption. It is collude. They collude with them. They have a mandate to collude with them. You think all these DSS arrested now for colluding with the bandits that they are going to be prosecuted? No. God will come from Aso Rock there. Let them go. We sent them. Defense Intelligence Agency boss that has retired, Kundo Laumi, he said DSS know about all these things. NIA know, DIA know, and they should go and ask them. You understand? So they know about everything that is going on. Remember that the Afenifere youth leader that was kidnapped before, Ajajuni, okay? He said that they were using sophisticated equipment to make sure that people coming to give them money, they will not even know their location. Police can't track them. You never knew that DSS was helping them to maneuver all those things. We are living in a crazy world, and Nigeria can never be sustainable because of this. I am advocating that Nigeria should share this power. Every nation, if possible, every nation, when I mean nation, I'm talking about tribe, they ought to have their own separate power to protect their land. They ought to have their own country. And many people are being blindfolded by political brouhaha. They follow politicians. They don't still understand what is going on. Then after you must have gotten what you want, what next? Your people are dying. What next? There are some things that are more important than money. The life of human is more important than money.
We can say now banditry is an industry in Zamfara State. Last month, we arrested a member of the State House of Assembly in banditry here in Zamfara State. We arrested a district head. We also as well arrested a former local government chairman. So you can see that involvement of this class of people in banditry is more making the situation to become more and more complex. So in essence, I can say that all caliber of people now are involved. All manner of people are involved in this banditry. More alarming and more disturbing is the involvement of a district head in supplying drugs to the bandits. So in that respect, your presence here today.
I totally disagree with Mr. President this morning. I think it's an abdication of responsibility, and I think President Tinubu has not done enough when it comes to insecurity, and I think the governor has no blame in this communal crisis matter. And the governors cannot really do much. Let's be sincere with ourselves. The federal government oversees the police. The same federal government will not like state security. Even if you get state security, you can't get them sophisticated weapons because of clause in the Constitution. Secondly, the military is overseen by the federal government. Yes, we can say governors have protection. They move around in convoys. Yes. But apart from their protection, the day this governor has a problem with the federal government, that's when you will know that he has no powers. We have seen with the case of Governor Fubara now. It's just one order from above, and they will manipulate even the security architecture on ground. Governor Muftwang, yes, should be able to talk to people communally, but the greatest blame falls on President Tinubu that is still in France. Well over 100 people have died. What is he going to do about it? Is he going to put in more military? Do we even have boots on the ground? Little over 200 or 300,000 soldiers, less than 400,000 police officers, for a population of over 200 million. Are those areas effectively covered? What's the reconnaissance like? So once people got intelligence there were going to be a reprisal attack, what was done to forestall the reprisal attacks? Who fights back? You put a vigilante team in there, they will complain of high-handedness at some point. So who fights back? Who is able to protect the people of Bokos, Manga, Mangu, and a couple of other areas. And the people around the Rigwe area. All of these should go back to the president. Look at all the security personnel there, the military, the civil, what's it called, defense and everything. All of them get instruction from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The governors are the chief security officers in name and only when they are in alignment with the government of the center. So you see, a governor that pretty much gets his way by is in alignment with the government of the center. If the government of the center want to mess you up, you will see what happens. Before you know, they withdraw security so quickly from you. So there's no true level of, federalism. And I hate to use the word true federalism because it doesn't exist in the first place. The solutions will be number one. How do we put a response force across local government areas that can alert people when there are these attacks so that they can be repelled quickly? Secondly, are we going to put some vigilante units on the ground, and who is going to be able to fund them? Thirdly, the intercommunal conversation and all of that. Most importantly, these people that come to attack, how do they get the weapons? It's the federal government that will do the work of taking the weapons off them in the first place. So all that weaponry architecture and illegal movement of weapons must be stopped. But how are they going to do this? It's the federal government through the DSS and other intelligence apparatchik that will have to do that. What I just want to tell President Tinubu this morning, are you not tired of condemning deaths in this country? The other day, you issued out a statement, condemn deaths. Today, you're issuing another statement, condemning deaths. When will you stop issuing statements to condemn deaths and actually get on top of the situation and be proactive? President Tinubu, Section 14, subsection 2 says, the security of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the paramount responsibility of the states. You are the head of states. The buck stops with you. Do something.
Ó ti ń rúgbó bọ̀ o. Ó ti ń rúgbó bọ̀ báyìí o. Ní ìgbà tí àwọn kidnapper bá ń gbé brigadier general, tí àwọn general tó kù tí wọ́n lọ sanwó ransom láti fi gba brigadier ń jáde, ṣé ẹ mọ̀ yìí pé ẹ̀yin fúnra ara yín ẹ ní security? Ẹ̀yin fúnra ara yín ẹ ti wà nínú ewu báyìí. Nígbà tí wọ́n ti lè gbé àwọn tẹ́ ẹ rò pé àwọn ní security, army, láì ṣọlọ́pàá, láì ṣe civil defense, tí wọ́n ń gbé wọn, tí wọ́n gbé wọn lọ káwọn general ẹgbẹ́ wọn tí wọ́n ń dáwó tán lọ gba ẹni yẹn sílẹ̀, láì inform yín, wọn sọ fún yín, instead kí wọ́n kó ìbọn lọ sínú ibi tẹ́ni yẹn wà, tẹ́ni ẹ bá máa bá wọn lọ kí wọ́n da gbogbo bẹ̀jẹ́, fẹ́ pé ṣe náà lọ sanwó ransom. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ẹ ti wà nínú ewu báyìí? My president, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ torí Ọlọ́run. Ìgbẹ́kẹ̀lé kan tó ta nílẹ̀ Yorùbá wọn ni olóyè Sunday Igboho. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, gbogbo ohunkíhun tó wù kí olóyè Sunday Igboho ṣe fún yín tó wà lọ́kàn yín tó ń dùn yín, àbí táwọn èèyàn kan sọ fún yín torí pé ní àsìkò tẹ́yìn wà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe ọkàn fún yín torí wọn ò jalè, wọn ò dẹ̀ pààyàn. Àwọn tó ń gérí tí ń gẹ́sẹ̀ ògbọ́n náà wà láàrin ìlú náà ń gbé ní ìlú, ìjọba ò rí nǹkan kan ṣe fún wọn. Olóyè Sunday Igboho wọ́n ń jà fún àwa tálákà ní àwa mẹ̀kúnnù wípé kí Fúlàní máa lọ ba oko wa jẹ́ ká máa lọ ba rè wa jẹ́. Òun náà sọ pé ní Buhari fi tọpọ́n fẹ́ gbàjọba lọ́wọ́ òun náà fi Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀. Wọ́n tún lọ mú wọn ní Kútọnu. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run, ẹ jẹ́ kí olóyè Sunday Igboho kan padà sí Nàìjíríà. Kan padà sí tí Fúlàní bá 100 bá gbọ́ pé Igboho ń bọ̀, wọ́n máa túká ni wọn ò lè dúró. Ẹ̀yin fúnra ara yín ní ìsìn, àwọn Major General wọn lọ àwọn sójà tẹ́ ẹ fi ṣe ara tẹ́ ẹ rò pé kò sí ohun tí wọn ò ní dá lára. Òun ló ń kàn yìí o, ó ń rúgbó bọ̀ o. Wọ́n sì ní màkàmàkàn lóye ń kàn o. Oyè tó kan ara àwò, nígbà àkànrà ẹ̀dẹ̀ ewu ẹ̀yìn ìlú òkè náà ni o. Olóyè Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, agbára Ọlọ́run, bó ti nǹkan tàyé yín po tó, ẹ borí wọn o. Mo bẹ̀ yín ni, ẹ jẹ́ kí olóyè Sunday Igboho kí wọ́n wọ Nàìjíríà wá, kán máa bọ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá hàn náà fẹ́ bá yín gbá Àbújá. Ẹ jẹ́ kán wà nílé wọn, kán máa ṣe bàbá àwọn ọmọ wọn ń bẹ̀. Kán dẹ̀ láǹfààní sí àwọn báńkì wọn tẹ́ fíìsì, gbogbo àkáǹtì wọn tẹ́ fíìsì kẹ́ jẹ́ kán láǹfààní sí, kí wọ́n rówó dán kán rówó fi jẹun. Wọ́n fẹ́ sílò nǹkan 2 mẹ́ta wọn aró tán máa fi ra àwọn òbèrè lọ́wọ́ ìjọba, wọn ò tó ìjọba kan fún wa ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ torí Ọlọ́run, tá a bá ti rí wọn tó ti wà Nàìjíríà nísìn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, ọkàn Yorùbá máa balẹ̀. Ẹ má fetí sí ohun táwọn fẹ́ sọ fún yín nígbà táwọn Ìgbò dìde nísìn fún Nnamdi Kanu. Ṣé ipò fi Nnamdi Kanu sílẹ̀? Ẹ jẹ́ káwọn Yorùbá náà káyìdé fún Sunday Igboho. Olóyè Sunday Igboho wọn ò ṣe nǹkan tó burú láàrin wa, wọn ò ṣe ohun tí ò dáa, wọn ò pa wọn bàá lórúkọ jẹ́, wọn ò bójú wa jẹ́. Kí ló ń ṣàwa Yorùbá táwọn lè tó jẹ́ pé àwa ya ọ̀lẹ.
Mo jẹ́ ẹ̀jẹ́ fún orílẹ̀-èdè mi ilẹ̀ Odùduwà tó ń ṣàn fún wàrà àti fún oyin. Ilẹ̀ tó kún fún àwọn akọni ọgbọ́n, ètò àti òye. Mo ṣe ìlérí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ ológo ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀, ìtànṣọ́ oòrùn láti la ayé já nílẹ̀ Áfíríkà, láti gbé ilẹ̀ Odùduwà lárugẹ. Mo pinnu láti fìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan fún ìlọsíwájú ìran Yorùbá. Mo fọwọ́ sọ̀yà pé n kò ní dalẹ̀ tàbí ṣọ̀tẹ̀ sí ìṣọ̀kan àti ìtẹ̀síwájú orílẹ̀-èdè mi ilẹ̀ Odùduwà. Èmi yóò fi gbogbo ipá, ọkàn, iṣẹ́, ọgbọ́n àti ìṣe mi sin orílẹ̀-èdè mi ní òtítọ́ àti lódodo títí ọjọ́ ayé mi. Gbogbo ìyànjú àwọn akọni tó ti lọ kò ní já sófo láti ọwọ́ mi títí dé ìrandíran tí ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn. Mo ṣe ìlérí pé ẹ̀sìn tàbí ìṣèlú kò ní yà wá nílẹ̀ Odùduwà. Tó bá wáyé bẹ́ẹ̀, mo lè lo ọ̀kan ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó kù sára mi láti fi ṣègbè àti jàjàgbara fún orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ilẹ̀ Odùduwà, ìran Yorùbá, èdè kan, àṣà kan àti ìṣe kan ló so wá pọ̀ láéláé lágbára Elédùwà.